And that moment, I must say, many times when I said Pan-African culture, African Renaissance, I realized at that moment that it was theory for me. But on that day, Mwalimu made it practical for me. I saw how practical it is, and I saw how it was demanding on individuals, on collectives, and on South Africa to be part and parcel with the continent with no qualms so that it plays its role. That's the first and very most important thing that I learned about from Mwalimu, and which I cherished and I'll cherish for the rest of my life. Secondly is that, of course, one has read and did all of these things to understand Mwalimu. When President Kaunda passed quite recently, I hoped that us, the 1.5 million Africans on the continent and also adding Africans in the diaspora, I hoped that we will understand that this was a generation which did everything possible to hand over the African continent with its wealth, with its problems, with its challenges, with everything to our generation. He was the last. What have we done and what must we do now to capture that legacy? Because we are a generation which will pass soon ourselves. To capture that generation, that legacy, and hand it over to the generation that is coming. And I'm putting it like that because I'm keenly aware that the challenge of xenophobia, which is going on in South Africa, cannot be owned by any African. It must not be owned by any African. And I do not believe that it was manufactured, conceptualized by Africans. I do not believe that, because at every turn when it happens in South Africa, we realize that there is a sector of something which nurtures it consciously, deliberately, putting people in buses to go and do it. I am putting it like that because it was most terrifying when I realized that our brothers and sisters outside of South Africa have picked up this and they believe that South Africans are xenophobic. I want to say many people in South Africa, when we were oppressed by apartheid, looked to Africa. Majority of people in South Africa looked to Africa to help. I do not believe that we've lost that, and we could do so against the greatest odds to know that we are part and parcel of Africa because of leaders like Mwalimu, who forever, never, ever, ever forgot that there is a South Africa, which South Africa was ruled under apartheid. Ever. They never forgot that, and that message got through to us. It is not possible that after that, when South Africa gets independence, we forget that. I'm raising this matter because it becomes extremely important that Africans, wherever we are, we must now say and understand that majority of South Africans will never ever be xenophobic. We waged a struggle on the basis that South Africa will be an integral part of the African continent, and we were keenly aware that there was a conscious, deliberate effort by colonialists and at the apartheid regime to extricate South Africa from African continent. South Africa belongs to the African continent, lock, stock, and barrel, nowhere else. The last thing that I'd like to say, following from two South Africans who spoke, Bongiwe, and I think it's Kenneth, sorry to call you by your first names, but Bongiwe, and I know Bongiwe very well. I listened carefully to Kenneth. I'm very appreciative of what he said. In order to say that everything that they said contradicts anything which has to do with South Africa being extricated from the African continent and from African people. Lastly, really lastly now, Tanzania brought up my two children. They went there, I think, when they were 8 and 9. Both of them are fathers. One is a mother and the other is a father. Is a father. I must say to you, they are very proud. They will talk about the challenges that they faced in Tanzania, in Morogoro, Mazimbu. They talk about the challenges, but they are proud that they learned a lot, not only from the schools, but from their interactions with other Africans from Tanzanians. And for that, my whole family, my whole extended family, we are most appreciative of that. And I am proud to reduce it to that personal level so that it's not just theory that I talk about. And thank you very much for this opportunity.